2 from 2 now for the All Blacks, but as former All Blacks, do you feel satisfied from the last 2 weeks' performances?
Well, I think last night the line-out struggled and our kicking game struggled, so I thought we'd see some improvement from the week before that we probably didn't get. So as ex-All Blacks, when you're looking for improvement, we probably didn't get it as in the places where we thought we would. Scrum's been really solid. Defence was very good, especially close in, they couldn't go through us. But the line-out really struggled, and so did our kicking game.
I'd say the character of our team is what's got us through for 2 weeks. Yeah. Our character, our experience, our impact, particularly last night, the last 20 minutes of the game, we were very, very good. England were out on their feet. I think when we go back and look at some of the great eras of All Black rugby, particularly in the professional age, the last 20 minutes is an area we owned when we've been a very, very good team. We owned that last night. And so I look at that, and there are aspects of our game we talked about, which were a little bit disappointing, a little bit frustrating, which didn't allow us to play. But I'm just going to quickly, before Mills, these are the stats for England in their last 11 games. This is the margins in their games. Win or lose. 1-6, 1-3-3, 2-9, 1-2-1, and a 7. So the margins when teams play England in the last 12 months are very small, Mills. So that tells me we played a very good team who are well coached, well prepared, and met an All Black team which clearly, right now, is still evolving as a group.
Yeah, I think there's still plenty of work to do. I think the frustration is the fact that we probably haven't got our game going, and that's due to the fact of the pressures that we've been on from a defensive point of view from the opposite side. But, you know, you asked a couple of weeks ago, how many games would you be satisfied us winning? And I said 9, right? This is the reality. We're going to get tough test matches. You know, we're going to go now against Fiji, and you know, hopefully, I'm not sure what's going to happen in terms of personnel, but you're seeing it also around in the Republic. These are tough test matches to be able to win. So, one, there's a bit of relief and satisfaction that we've got the W's in both of those. But two, I think we are evolving. I think there's more to our game than what we've had. We've shown a lot of character, which we needed to, and we've grinded out some win. But I suppose if we look at our DNA, JK, we still want to see that expansive game. And that's probably the thing as ex-All Blacks, we're thinking, man, is it going to happen? Is that new game plan going to evolve? I just think the last 2 weeks we've had to really sort of sit back and go, well, this isn't going to be a game that's going to open up. We're just going to have to win it hard.
Yeah, look, I think there's a few things that happened. The top 4 sides in the world, we've had a change in coaching staff. Russie's still there, you know, Farrell's still there. So they have just moved on. Whereas I think there's a whole new coaching staff. What this coaching staff, I believe, will be doing today is going, okay, is there information overload? Are we spending too much time on the scrum and not enough time on the line-out? They'll take a real good look at how they coached, and I think Razor said that last night. I don't think they'll do the innovation yet because they'll just want to get these, you know, they just want to settle in, get some new systems in place, and then we'll be expecting to see something a little bit different moving forward. What do you do this week? I think, you know, the interesting thing about being All Black coach, when you don't perform, it's like losing. So the pressure comes on straight away, you know, and that's hard. So they'll look at themselves, they'll say, okay, do we need to peel back some of the information? I actually liked the way we started the game. I thought there was some real expansive stuff, and did then that pay off at the end of the game, Goldie? You know, because I came down and I was pretty excited, and you said, they've run out of juice, the English side, you know, they've run out of juice in the last 20. Was that because we played pretty expansive early and there was a couple of opportunities that we probably didn't take, you know, that cross kick. So, yeah, I mean, we won 2 test matches against a very good side with a whole new coaching staff, a whole new system. You manage it. Everything's changed, you know. There's only a couple of staff members that have survived, and there's not many difference in the rugby team. They're still the same players.
You're talking about the coaching group. There's been some really honest assessments from the head coach anyway, Scott Robertson. This is what he had to say after the match.
You know, we just weren't transferring, I'll be honest, what we trained onto the field, but we created enough opportunities in the end, and that's test footy. We knew we had opportunities. We just need to be braver to get there, you know. Like, I take ownership that, look, I've asked them to do it, now we've still got to do it. And do I go to coach better? Well, that's what the next week and the next series is about, yeah.
Two really strong bits of information there, not translating the training paddock onto test matches. What does he mean by that?
Well, I mean, you prepare for something, or I think the hard part for this coaching team is they've had all of this time to prepare. They've got an idea in their head about how they want to play, and now they've got their hands on the players and they've got an opportunity to try and implement that. But that has to come with trust and understanding and execution and all those sorts of things. And that's not easy to do with a team. And that's why I put the margins and let you know the margins. That's a really good defensive side who's going to put you under pressure. Now, there's a game plan you can run, all right, against probably 6 through 11 in the world. 1 through 5, you know, when France, you play England, South Africa and Ireland, all of a sudden your game plan is going to come under real stress. And so I think for me, Mills, is I listen to that and they go that they're wondering, the question mark for me they'll be having is, can we execute this plan that we've put in place? What adjustments do we make? And how much of it is about personnel? Yeah. And the trouble we have now is, what are the expectations, Mills, to play Fiji and San Diego? The fact that what team do they put together when... If other guys are trying to bet it in, the two team, they pick these 2 test squads to go out and deliver it. How many of those guys get another chance straight away? And what do you forego in terms of combinations? And you've got some young guys you might want to get a chance to pull on the All Black jersey and state their case. So I think this is a really difficult situation for this team to be in right now, because clearly the coaches aren't happy with what they're getting out on the park.
Can I ask you something, Mills? A couple of weeks ago before the first test, you said you would start Beauden Barrett at first 5. So what would you do after the weekend? Bodie was one of the best super subs in the world for the All Blacks when he first started between 2012 and 2015. Is his best impact off the bench, or is it to actually be a starter for this side?
Well, he was fantastic last night, wasn't he? I mean, a super sub when he first came on, he's still got that ability, 124 test matches, and you're still doing stuff like this. I mean,
answer the question. Answer the question.
I honestly don't know. I think... And the reason why I don't know is because we haven't quite got the flow in our game. Part of me is saying we've got to entrust in the fact that, your point, JK, we've got to entrust in the guy that we've put out there, Damian McKenzie. He hasn't had that ride. But I think what he has done is absorbed all that sort of pressure to then go ahead. Beauden's going to be there. That's the great thing about it. When you play that many test matches and you come back with that spark...
Sorry, I'm just
laughing at.
No, I'm just laughing because my wife, who's Italian, can't pronounce Beauden's name, so she calls him bed and breakfast. And and I'm just laughing because when I came out of the field last night, my wife came to the game. She said, "Thank God for bed and breakfast." I said, yeah,
and you're
thank
right.
God for bed and breakfast. And B&B, he came on last night. There's a couple of factors we have to take into consideration. Impact players come off the bench, and the opposition were tired, according to Goldie. And he was outstanding. This guy is world class. He's done that in 15, you know. But let's get back to the first 5 discussion. Beauden hasn't played there, right? Hasn't played there for a few years. He's been our fullback. And it took Daniel Carter a loss in 2-7, an injury, right? Moanga, who's been amazing. It took him a couple of years, remember, to really take the team and go, it's mine. And we nearly won a World Cup with his leadership. You can't just go, that's it, after 2 test matches. Does he need to improve his kicking game? Yes, he'll know that. Does he need to use his voice a bit more? They'll know that. I don't know what it was like on the sideline. But if we're going to commit to someone for the next 3 years, you've got to commit to him. And you've got to commit to him and go, let's go, son, because it's your football team. It's the only position I believe in the world where you need to do that. It's like the quarterback in NFL. You know, they've got to have complete trust. And, you know, you feel when you're not trusted. So I think that his first 2 test matches haven't been what we expected, and that's mainly around his kicking game. And when you're struggling with a little part of your game, then you're not playing with the confidence that you need. And I haven't seen, and this team was put under a lot of pressure, I haven't seen the attack, you know. So Damian... if we're going to stick with him, you've got to stick with him. You've got to play him against Fiji to get some confidence.
This is, I think Ray's is also alluding to that. You know, there's stuff that's on there that the coaches are seeing, but having the confidence when you're out there, you can't train pressure, right? You can't train pressure when you've been out there and you go, okay, here's what the coaches are saying. I can see it, and I don't know if I want to do it because the test match is so tight and I've got to take control of it. And that's probably what he's trying to unleash. Now, if we had lost and they did those things that he asked for, he might have been a little bit happy. I just think there's still growth in what we're doing. The good thing is that we're not sitting here having given England are hiding in these last 2 test matches because they're a quality side.
The 3 most critical decision-making positions are 9, 10 and 15. They're all new to that position. Essentially, in talking of experience, Finlay Christie as a starter in this test match, Damian McKenzie a starter. He started 7 tests at first 5 for the All Blacks. That's all. 7 tests. Yes, he may have been in the environment, played a number at fullback. Most of his impact's been there, but he's played just 7 test matches. So he hasn't been given the keys to the car yet. He hasn't been given the opportunity to control the All Blacks. Last year, when he got his opportunity, he was very, very good. So I think we've got to understand he's a special talent. And I think if you now combine him, and I would do this, and I thought Beauden Barrett would start at fullback in these 2 test matches. They went another direction, whether or not that was showing faith in guys who'd played in Super Rugby, and Stephen Petafeta in the last month and was part of a championship side. But there were some critical plays in this game that Damian McKenzie did really well. That was one of them. He was that last pass there, that pass to Beauden Barrett, he would put him into a hole. So to suggest that he's not ready to run this team, I think he is. I just think he's doing it. He was doing it with an inexperienced fullback and a player who sat on behind Aaron Smith for a long time, Finlay Christie. So I think there's a lot of things here that he needs the benefit of time. I think he needs an opportunity, and I would like to see him start at 10 again, and
so
I'd like Beauden Barrett at fullback. I'd play him again, and I put Beauden Barrett at fullback because Beauden will help him take control of the situation a little bit more. He'll give him a little bit of extra voice. But to me, we've got to coach who we've got here, not who we might have in the future. And I think it's really important. The here and the now tells me that Damian McKenzie is committed to New Zealand rugby. He wants to be out there and be the All Black number 10, and I've got no doubts that he can do it. It's just going to take a little bit of time. This is a lot of learning that this group has to do.
Do we need to build a game plan around him, Mills? I've always said that he plays like a rugby league standoff. So do we need to actually build some attack around him, where he is running a bit lateral and there's guys coming off? And do we need to build a little bit more around him as an attacker?
I think that's what we're lacking. We're lacking that real quick ball. Like we're not effective enough at the breakdown. The team, like, the English slowed it right down. When you're slowing it right down, you're having the defensive line come straight at you. Look at what happened when Beauden came on. You know, they started to win that sort of contact. You know, England started to backpedal, and then all of a sudden, Damian McKenzie was running the cutter. Somehow we've got to come up with a way to make our ball a lot faster, because when it is, we're really effective.